In this video, you're going to learn how and when you should cut cardboard with scissors. And you're going to learn this through 5 quick tips that will help you make better, cleaner cuts with scissors through cardboard. So, let's jump into it. Hello there, this is MakerBrain and I'm Eli Tennant, and I love to help you with the best tips and tutorials for makers just like this one. And on this channel, you can expect weekly videos that help you access and implement your creativity. So if that sounds interesting to you, then you should go down to that big red button down below and hit subscribe. Cutting cardboard with scissors can be tricky. You often get these crushed and crimped looking edges that really aren't very nice. So here are the 5 tips coming right up. Number 1, if possible, cut thinner cardboard. So we all know that scissors cut paper really well, but paper is extremely thin. And when you go for the chunkier, normal type of shipping container cardboard, it really shows the downside of scissors. But when you go with something much thinner like this, kind of like cereal box thickness cardboard, or just some really thin shipping container stuff, it really cuts a lot better, and you don't get any of that nasty crimping. And if you do, it's a lot smaller than before. Go for thinner cardboard. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is make shorter cuts. Longer than the blade is definitely going to give you a crimped edge as you try and work your way through. If I have this little piece of cardboard, I can cut it with scissors all day long, and that's going to work out perfectly fine. It's not going to be crimped at all. Whereas if I went for something nice and chunky, this is like longer than the blade of the scissors, and tried to cut all the way through, it ends up looking all nasty. So go for thinner pieces, thinner cuts. Tip number 3 is cut along the grain. So in this piece of cardboard, we've got our grain going from one side to the other, and you can see all these little ridges. That's what defines the grain. If I were to cut it this way, cutting with my scissors this way, that'd be cutting along the grain. Cutting this way would be cutting against the grain. So when we cut against the grain, you can see all those little bumps and ridges and crimps that we get from the cut. But if we cut along the grain, we'll still get some of that, but especially if we do a nice straight clean cut that's not super long, you only get a couple little crimps and rips in the cardboard, and it'll turn out a lot nicer, whereas against the grain, again, you get a lot of flaws. So cut with the grain, like that. Tip number 4 is to cut off thinner sections at a time. So if you just need to take off a little bit, this is the perfect area for some scissors. Scissors are really good for cutting like corners. If I want to do just a little snip here or a little thing on the other end, it's going to come out nearly flawlessly. And if I do a long thin cut, where I just cut off a little from the end, I still might get a little bit of crimping on the main piece, but most of the damage will be inflicted on this little tiny piece that I cut off, and I don't actually care about this piece, so that's fine with me if it gets all torn up. Cut off little sections at a time, and that is one of the best ways to use scissors while you're creating cardboard models, is to round corners and just do little finesse changes that it's harder to do with your knife. And tip number 5 is just a quick little thing to keep in mind whenever you're cutting with scissors, is you want to cut so that you can see the line. Scissors have their 2 shears, and you want to be cutting so that you can see the line right on the edge that's going to be cutting. So you can see here, this upper one, it would be hard to see the line because the shear is kind of in the way, versus the bottom one, the shear is nice and flat, and that's exactly where it's going to be cutting, and I can see the line right there. So if I'm going to go here, now I'm holding it so the shear is on top. I want to look from this side and cut it this way so I can see the line. If I look from the other side, it's a lot harder to see the line, and you're more liable to make mistakes. So again, make sure you're able to see the line, and you don't have to like look past one of the shears, one of the blades, when you're cutting the cardboard. Make sure that when you're crafting, you use scissors in combination with a knife, and that's going to give you the best result, because where the knife falls short, the scissors tend to excel, and vice versa. So you want to make sure that you have both whenever you're going to be doing your crafting. Question of the day: do you primarily use a knife, or a pair of scissors or shears of some kind when you are working with cardboard. Let me know in the comments below, and also let me know if you have any other cardboard working questions. I'd love to answer those in the comments, or create a whole nother video addressing whatever it is that you brought up. If you learned something from this video, then show your appreciation by hitting that like button, and if you want to see more content like this, then you ought to be subscribing. As always, I'm Eli Tennant, this is Maker Brain, and oh wait. If you want to watch my Cardboard Basics playlist, click or tap that video right there. And if you want to watch another video by Maker Brain, you can go ahead and click or tap that bottom video. Or subscribe to the big glowing logo right there. As always, I'm Eli Tennant, this is Maker Brain, and I'll see you in another video. God bless. And implement... I love the, like, yellow glow eminence of gold power.